Planting times. Two main planting times for alfalfa. The first is going to be a spring seeded. Spring seeding can aid in disease resistance. It can also take advantage of early rainfalls. Spring plantings or spring seedings can be problematic due to heavy weed competition. Late summer seeding, which is usually around here in Illinois anyway, occurs in August. The late summer seedings are usually not as prone to weed infestations during the establishment. But there's also usually less moisture available during that time. And the late summer seeded areas are usually seeded with a companion crop, whereas the spring seeded, with respect to weed control, is usually better seeded on its own without a companion crop. That way you can it opens up the door to more herbicides to be able to use to control any weeds that might be going to pop up. Soils and nutrients. Soil test must be taken for alfalfa. As always, use a quality lab. Take several samples around the area that you're going to plant, and take all them samples, mix them all together, and then supply one sample to whatever lab it is that you're going to use for the sample to be analyzed. So you're going to get an average of what the area needs as far as nutrients. Of course, you're going to be looking at getting the soil around the 6.8 to 7 pH range for optimum. And you're also going to get recommendations of NP and K, which is nitrogen, phosphate, and potash. We commonly use urea, DAP or MAP, which is DAP or MAP, which is the DAP or MAP is the phosphate portion, and it also contains a small amount of nitrogen. The potash portion is going to be widely used for the potassium portion. As far as what the plant is going to take away, I'll give you this as it's harvested. A 3 ton per acre yield is going to remove approximately 153 pounds of nitrogen, 38 pounds of phosphate, and 147 pounds of potassium, 16 pounds of sulfur, 56 pounds of calcium, and that's all in one growing year. Also, you need to keep that in mind if it's in an area that your wildlife is keeping mowed down without you having to do extra mowings and stuff like that. If the plant's gone, it's taking nutrients away. It's being carried away, whether the deer's dropping it right there or dropping it in a field a quarter of a mile from there. Those nutrients are still leaving and should be addressed for coming out. One of the best times to apply nutrients to alfalfa is going to be in the fall. If you have soils with a decent CEC, you can get away with that. If you've got soils with a lower CEC, or maybe on the sandier side, I would recommend 2 to 3 applications per year of the necessary amounts that are broken up. So if it's let's say it's 100 pounds that you need, break that up into a 50-pound early summer, 50-pound late fall, on to seed bed preparation. It's best to have the weeds already in check before seeding an area. One way to do this is to follow a Roundup Ready crop. If you're using conventional tillage, you'll need a firm seed bed, disc or till, and then cultipack before broadcasting the seeds. If mowing with a bush hog mower, use one with high lift blades to facilitate even distribution across the width of the mower. A mower that leaves a windrows can smother out plants Alfalfa is prone to die if covered too thickly with vegetation. Keep that in mind too if you're using like a zero-turn mower or something like that to mow it. Make sure and spread it as evenly and as far as possible to keep that vegetation from building up too much, because it will kill it out in the spots where it's too thick.